Well, hello, everyone. I'm Deb Sofield, and you're listening to my weekly podcast series, Encouragement for Your Life. You know, I'm a national speaker and trainer and a coach. I help people find their voice and learn to use it. I'm also a conference speaker on the topic of public speaking, presentation, and media skills. So listen, if you are part of an organizing conference that needs a keynote speaker, please find me at debsofield.com. I've got a great theme today. It's a tough love show. And it's this. Our friend, when your past calls, don't answer it. It's got nothing new to say. I mean, think about it. How many times have you fallen back into an old habit because you answered the call of your past? You know you shouldn't have picked up the phone. You know you should have thrown away that phone number. You know you should have never replied to that tweet, but you did. And now we're dealing with the aftermath. All right. Big show. Stay tuned. I'm Deb Sofield. I'll be right back after this break. So when I think about doing a weekly show, I've got to tell you, sometimes I think it's important that I talk about hard things. And that's my message for today. And my title is this: When your past calls, friend, don't answer it. It has nothing new to say. So I have this really great job to be a speech coach for TEDx speakers across the country. And in the course of meeting the different presenters, I met one whose mission in life was to help those who had been in prison begin again. Because, as she says, they've paid their debt to society. So now it's time to get on with their lives. I'll admit that her message is a fascinating journey. From life to death or prison, to life again, to uncertainty in one's new life. One of the lessons I gleaned from the conversation is how strong the pull is that many people feel once they've left their past. And it's a daily struggle because for so long, it's all they ever knew. I have to ask, how many times have you fallen back into an old habit or pattern because you answered the call of your past? You know you shouldn't have picked up the proverbial phone, but you did, and you said hello, and now you're dealing with the aftermath. You should have thrown away that phone number, and you didn't, and now you're dealing with it. You should have never replied to that tweet, and yet here we are. I'm encouraging you today to say goodbye and leave your past behind so you can move forward. See, I think it's interesting that so many people I talk with have the same pull. Although it may not land you in prison, it's going to land you in the prison of your mind or of your emotions or things you should have never stepped into in the first place. It's like a spider web that seems to draw so many back when they've come so far. It's odd in a way that the stickiness of your past is hard to unglue in the present. But it wouldn't have been had you not answered the phone or thrown away that number or didn't reply to the text. So today's a hard lesson, and frankly, it's a lesson for me and it's a lesson for life. So friends, let me remind you, when your past calls, don't answer it. For many of you, it's got nothing new to say. And the reason it has nothing new to say is that you're not the same person. You're not the same person who made those mistakes years, months, days, hours, minutes ago. Now, you may have made new mistakes, but that's a talk for another day. See, life is movement forward unless you like to live in the past. And some people I've met along my journey do like to live in the past because for some, it might have been their glory days. You know, when you played football without your knees hurting, or you could sing without your voice cracking, or you were student body president. You did great things years ago. For some, remembering your past is all right. Just, friend, don't live there because that's not your future. And for those who have pasts that are less than stellar, I have to ask, why, oh why have you brought it along with you? Come on, when are you going to be strong enough to leave it behind, even if it calls or when it calls? Remember, you don't have to answer because it's got nothing new to say. Listen, I grew up in church, and I know that in some circles it's considered spiritual or healing or good for your soul to keep digging up old bones and chewing on them again. But that's not for me. I trust after our time today, you'll realize that's not for you or anyone you know, because unless you glance back and learn from your mistakes, you're just going to be staring at damaged or an empty past, and that does you no good. Allow me to mention, for those who are listening who are of the faith community, remember, friend, once forgiven, you've got no need to go back and relive those muddy days. Think about it. That's an insult, and you know it. Listen, if I had a nickel for all the coulda, woulda, shouldas of life, I'd be a wealthy woman. But since I don't dwell in the past, I've got to make a living another way. I have a friend, I should say I had a friend, who wailed about what was done to her 25 years ago. Okay, 25 years ago was 1997. 25 years ago. And the darndest thing is she can remember every jot and tittle, even down to the clothes they wore, because she's living in the past. And she's angry about it, and she never got her say. And everyone, and I mean everyone in our community of friends, well, they've all moved on and moved past. Everybody's gone but her. Oh, she's going to hang on to it. And it's really not good for her or her health. A friend of my family's went through a divorce, and it was a hard one. I mean, the wife walked in one day and said, "Sorry, don't love you. You've done nothing wrong. I just want out." And she left the keys on the table and walked out the door. Now, listen, I know that's got to be devastating. And to the best of my ability, I get it. I understand why you're hurt and angry. But you know, our friend still carries that hurt in his heart, his head and his shoulders. And now he's kind of a bitter, mean old man. And I hate to say it, kind of ugly. You know, the girl whom he was married to for 5 years, he's chosen to let her destroy his life forever. He not only picks up the phone of his past, he carries this phone with him. And he even lifts the receiver every once in a while to make sure it's working in case his hurtful past comes calling, so he can relive every painful cut. Okay, so when I said he picks up the phone, it's like he's scrolling through his phone on his iPhone. He keeps looking for it instead of just letting it go and moving on. If someone treats you bad, remember that there's something wrong with them, not you. Normal people don't go around hurting or destroying other people. Now, granted, some people were young and immature and they made bad choices years ago when they hurt somebody. And we all live with our mistakes. But hear me, never let someone with the significance of a speed bump become a roadblock in your life. Friends, we all make mistakes that we're sorry for. And in hindsight, most people would never have done what they did. But if you don't move past it and settle it, forgive it and forget it, only you're hurting your soul and your spirit. Our friend, trust me, they've moved on. They forgave themselves. They matured. They never made that mistake again. And here you are, still bearing a burden that no one else is even interested in carrying. Listen, I know I've spoken about this before, but I keep hearing the same stories of unforgiving past lives and mistakes of yourself and others, and how good people keep dragging their pain from one relationship to another relationship, from therapist to therapist, as they travel along life's road. So I came across a quote that I love. It's this: you can't change what you refuse to confront. Let me say it again. You cannot change what you refuse to confront. And some listening today, you need to see your past for what it is, for what it was, and then just move on. Okay, your past called, you answered, it told you nothing new. Hang up, scroll down, turn the power off. See, you've confronted those mistakes. You've seen them for what they are for the millionth time. Now, friend, please change. Really change your mindset, change your heart, change your future. You know, only you can do that. Only you can forgive, forget, get over, pass by, move on, and not answer. Only you. Because remember, the other person most likely doesn't care, or more shocking to your fragile ego, they forgot and moved on. And they've got a big life of their own without you. So, what will you do today? I saw a quote online that says, "You want to come into my life? The door is open. You want to get out of my life? The door is open. Just one request. Don't stand in the doorway. You're blocking the traffic." I like that one. I know I've said it before, but if you carry the bricks from your past relationship, you will end up building the same house. Did you hear me? If you carry the bricks from your past relationship, you'll end up building the same house. I mean, how about that? You'll end up in a different location, but actually the same place. And then you're going to wonder how you got there. Again. I'll tell you. Friend, you built the same house on a different lot. Dear listener, when your hurtful past calls, don't answer it. It's got nothing new to say. And if it makes you feel better, on behalf of everyone who loves you, please hear me. We're sorry you had to go through all that. You didn't deserve it. We know you're hurt, but please know if you'll just look up, you'll see that you can heal, forgive, and maybe even forget down the road. Of course, that choice is yours. And those of us who love you and care about you, listen, all we want is for you to find healing and forgiveness because we want you to be happy and to learn to live your best life ever. I have to admit, when I hear the song from Pharrell Williams that comes on the radio every once in a while, I crank it up. It's the song Happy. It's from the movie Despicable Me. I gotta tell you, there is nothing like singing and dancing along to a song that just makes you happy. And why do we, those who love you, want you to be happy? Because it's been said, if you are brave enough to say goodbye, we truly believe life will reward you with a new hello. Our friend, it does all the time. It's also been said that life is like a camera. Focus on what's important, capture the good times, develop from the negatives, and if things don't work out, take another shot. Because for every minute you're angry, every minute you fume, every minute you're sad, you lose 60 seconds of happiness. And friends, you'll lose your happiness if you're too busy on the phone listening to the hurtful voices of your past. And why would you do that? Since you know, at least now you know, it's got nothing new to say to you. I'm Deb Sofield. Believe it or not, you are listening to Encouragement for Your Life. I'm going to come right back after the break and let's keep talking about this. Hi, I'm Deb Sofield. I'm a national speaker and an executive speech coach based here in Greenville, South Carolina. Hey, friend, if you or someone you know is interviewing for a job or college or law school or medical, dental, veterinary school, call me. You need to be prepared for the interview. Together, we'll craft the answers to the questions that will be asked, even the hard ones, and I'll teach you how to connect with the interviewer, work on your positive body language, and give you the powerful words and answers that the interview requires. You know, for most interviews, there's a standard set of questions that you must know the answer to, and depending on what you're interviewing for, that conversation changes. You need an interview coach, and I can help. I have years of experience successfully coaching for all types of interviews, helping my clients succeed. I'd love to be on your team. Oh, friend, I'd love to be your coach. Find me online at debsofield.com. debsofield.com. Welcome back, everybody. I'm so glad you are still with me. I'm Deb Sofield. You're listening to Encouragement for Your Life. It's my weekly Saturday show, and I appreciate you spending this time with me. So as I continue on with my theme today, I want to talk about not only leaving your past behind, but friend, what you probably need to do to make sure that you are successful in the future. I came across a great article by Mark Lowen, and the title is, When Leaving the Past Behind Ain't Easy. It's a good one. Let's begin. Like the maw of a monster from a horror movie, your past suddenly and unexpectedly grabs a hold of you, ready to suck you down and drown you. Anguish, frustration, resentment, and pain swamp you and drag you to the depths of despair. It's a struggle for life and death, or at least that's how it feels. Your unresolved issues could weigh you down like a 10-ton weight. You sink deeper and deeper into the mud of past regrets. Oh, if only I could turn back the clock and handle things differently, you think. Oh, if only I would have known what I know now. Maybe I could have avoided this pain. I could have spared myself the tears, if only. The truth is, you can spare yourself many tears and a lot of pain if you learn to live in the present. But it's just not that easy to leave the past behind, you say to me. And you're right. Friend, it's not easy at all. It's definitely more work than listening to a radio show or podcast. But I've got good news for you. Well, first, some not so good news. Think about this. Every day you remain trapped in your unpleasant past, countless amazing opportunities pass you by. However, the moment you recognize that you don't want to stay caught in your past, friend, you've taken the first step to free yourself, and you're on your way to healing. So let's go through this article. The headline is, How Can You Actually Leave the Past Behind? Well, you do that by accepting the past. Yeah, I know. You have to accept that the past simply can't be changed. You can't turn back the clock, no matter how much you wish it. You can only change how you view the past and whether you let past mistakes have control over you in the present. As long as you hold onto how you wish things had been, friend, you're not accepting the present. And although you can't change the past, what you can do is accept and embrace your wish to change the past. Your wish is an indication of acceptance that things went wrong and that stuff that shouldn't have happened in the past, not the present. And it's not happening anymore. Some of you may need to grieve the past that you never had, the loss of what you could have had. This is a process and it takes time, so be patient with yourself. How you do that is you confront the past. While you grieve your past, allow yourself to live in the present. Remind yourself that your past is not happening anymore. When you know what happened in the past is not happening anymore, you can feel safe to confront it. Decide to honestly face the issues. Although what happened in the past is not happening anymore, the pain is still very real. Let yourself feel your feelings so that you can resolve them. What holds many people back is that when they experience these feelings, they try to avoid them. Acceptance acknowledges that these feelings match what happened to you. By denying your feelings, you denied what happened to you was as bad as it was. Allow your feelings the room they deserve. If you feel you're doing this would overwhelm you, then you have the option for therapy or counseling or just a good friend or guide. The author of the article says, When I work with clients on overcoming their pain, I guide them in facing their feelings little by little because they might feel flooded otherwise. I thought that was interesting. Friend, you'll realize that as you practice accepting the past and the feelings this process brings up, you will become stronger. Just like physical exercise develops and strengthens your muscles, your emotional muscles become stronger when you decide to face your feelings. The next thing is some of you need to forgive yourself. Hey, listen, no one's perfect. Accepting that we all make mistakes and forgiving yourself for that might be one of the hardest things you do. The author of this article says, I often ask my clients, what makes you think that you are so much better than anyone else? Everybody makes mistakes. Why not you? When you forgive yourself, you help find the compassionate part within you. In some ways, forgiving is just one more way of acceptance. By accepting that you made a mistake and you can't change it, you can practice compassion with yourself. And hear me, forgiveness and compassion have healing powers. You'll see over time. When you release the anger and pain connected with the past, you will feel a weight lifted off your shoulders. This will allow you to learn and grow from what happened instead of letting it drag you down. Forgiving others can be a much more difficult step. Remember that forgiveness doesn't deny the bad things that were done to you. It doesn't make it any better, nor does it absolve anyone from fault or consequences. But it allows you to move on. And when you do that, you've got to be aware of your thoughts. You can control your mind. At least you can control how your mind responds when it becomes triggered. When it wanders off to bad places, friends, pull it back. Break the bad habit of allowing your mind to bring you down. Remember, thoughts lead to emotions that cause pain. Blaming and shaming doesn't help anyone. It only gets in the way of healing. Counseling can help you recognize negative thinking patterns. With some practice, you can learn to stop these and replace negative thoughts with thoughts that make you feel better. You can stop your negative thinking from having so much power over you. Reprogram your thinking by giving your mind a break. There are many practical strategies for interrupting your thoughts. You can meditate, take a walk, listen to music, listen to podcasts, hear a radio show, or seek out good relations. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to control your thoughts. So remember, practice is the key. And then I think it's important that you decide to move forward. Moving on will require you to remove old habits to create new and happier existence for yourself. Hey, it's not an easy step. Then again, neither were the previous ones. The truth is none of this is easy. But did you know that achieving hard to reach goals has a huge positive impact on your overall happiness? Yeah, it does. And not only does reaching your goals make you happier in the moment, it also has long-term effect. These positive feelings can last for a long time. Our friend, finding healing is a journey. You don't need to arrive at your destination to experience happiness. What you need to do is fill your time with things that you enjoy and that keep you from dwelling on the past. A new hobby, a new habit, new surroundings. Start using your newly acquired skills to redirect your mind. Now, this will be hard if you are used to focusing on the negative. And if you've done that for so long, it's not going to be easy, but you can do it. It's in you. It's on you once you decide to take control. And as I've said before, these steps aren't easy, but they are possible. And friend, I think happiness is attainable. And you know what I think? I think you deserve to be happy. So I did edit that a good bit, but I do like the article. It was by Mark Lowen, and he's got a company called Launchpad Consulting. So as I looked through different articles to find things that I think will help, I have to admit I came across another one that I thought was kind of interesting, and I think I've got time to get through most of it. It's by Trent Hand, and it's called, believe it or not, The 7 Deadly Sins of Happiness. And he says this: there's a lot of discussion going around about what actually makes people happy. In fact, in the last few decades, an entirely new field has been created around this question. And we refer to this area of psychology as positive psychology. While the scientific world is discovering many different factors which go into determining how happy a person will be, throughout history, we've been told by philosophers and religious leaders what to avoid in order to be happy. The article goes on to say, let me give you this list of the deadliest attacks on happiness. And these, as he calls, quote, sins, are so deadly that we often don't notice we're falling into the trap until we wake up one day and wonder, what have we done? As we look at ourselves in the mirror. All right, number 1, a friend, stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is the death of joy. Thank you, Mark Twain, for starting my list today. He's right. Whenever you begin to size yourself based on what you see others achieving, you have no choice but to be unhappy. Either you're going to feel guilty because you see less fortunate struggling while you live in relative comfort, or you feel inadequate because your friends are all better off than you are. It's kind of a lose-lose. So how about this? Focus on making yourself a little better every day. Number 2 is something I think a lot of people struggle with, and that is you talk about your dreams instead of going to work on them. Hey, listen, it's a great idea to talk about your passion and dreams, but if that's all you're doing is just talking, you're going to find yourself depressed in a very short time. In fact, you will begin to feel like a fraud, and you'll start to question if you ever achieve these dreams you speak about. And then slowly, some of you will stop speaking. The best way to cure is to start working on your dreams while you talk about them. While you're putting action in place, you will not feel like a fraud. But you got to follow up your words with actions so you don't commit this sin of just talking about your dream instead of working on it. All right, stop listening to people with nothing positive to say. Barbara Kokorian from Shark Tank says, a complainer is like a Death Eater because there's a suction of negative energy. Listen, negative people are a drain on you. And it's impossible to become immune to someone complaining in your presence, even when you try to ignore them. Simply being in the same room with someone spouting negativity will affect your mood. Now, how you do this is avoid these people. Listen, you're never going to make a negative person cheerful. It's just not in their nature. I like the next one. Gotta stop deciding someone else needs to change. From the book of Matthew. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? Admit it. How many times have you thought how much better your life would be if your spouse or coworker or child would just fix themselves or let you fix them? Listen, this phenomena has existed for at least 2,000 years, and probably longer, I would wager. It's so easy to look at someone else and see exactly what they're doing wrong. It's difficult to look at ourselves and see how we can improve. So instead of thinking about how others can improve, start working on your own shortcomings. Trust me, if you're like me, you got plenty to keep you busy. And then I like this last one. Thinking happiness is a destination you can reach. Many people walk around saying things, I'll be happy when I get my house paid, or when I'm finally married, or when I'm finally divorced, or when I'm finally fill in the blank. You may have the idea that once you accomplish a goal, you'll be happy. Sorry to tell you this, that's probably not going to be the case. Whenever you set out to achieve something and base your happiness on achievement, you've set yourself up for disappointment. Listen, you need to discover what makes you happy on a daily basis and create goals that line up with those activities. The wisest people know that happiness is achieved during the journey and not at the end. All right, gotta say, love this article today. Love this message because I think it is so important. Because friends, some of you are living in the past, and I want to remind you that when your past calls, it's got nothing new to say. I'm Deb Sofield. Thanks for staying with me in this little tough love show on Saturday. I look forward to connecting with you next week. Have a great one, everybody.